Hell yeah, brother. We are live, I think. So, more tournament casts. Today, at least that's the plan, we are casting the Blitz War versus Mr. Ghosty matches. Let me just pull up the challenge bracket. Let me actually check what we did last time on stream. What videos did we cast there? We did the Blitzor versus Benji and Sartor versus CKM. Alright. This time around we have in the losers bracket Blitz versus Ghosty. I think we also went over the Blitz versus Tech B at some point, at least briefly. If we didn't go through all of them, whatever. Blitz versus Ghosty it is today. Let me just turn it off. Also, quickly before we hop into that, check. Jesus Christ, the new YouTube studio bullshit is so fucking annoying. How do I get to fucking... Hang on. Sorry for the delay, but the fucking... Dashboard. There we go. Fucking hell. Alright. What is this even going on? Fucking Christ. Okay, so. This is versus Blitz War, game 1. What do we have? Held in a very small place. We have Blitz War playing Landed Mechanized and Ghosty playing on Taunt by the looks of it. Alright. Ghosty smart enough to not start alright with the super heavy bunch of MI-17s because, well, Blitz War is a mech tank, so he's slow as fuck outside of a few selected helicopters. Let me also quickly announce that I'm everything here is perfectly professional. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Chief. Thanks for that. It's because of people like you who, you know, keep motivating me to actually do some shit, even though it's all low effort. In any case, okay. So what do you have? M84AN on both sides. No other tanks except for that little bunch of BVPs. 2 AKMs. Well, Blitzwar does like his block 5s. So bunch of lots of tracked stuff. No wheeled infantry except of the OT64A with their specialnies. Looks at Jupiter here, probably driving around this side or something. Blitzwar, at least from the other side, likes to drive around with the recon behind the spawn. That's what he likes to do, just to spot stuff. And they're clearly pushing on the top side. Using a fob, which I find interesting, because I'd say that Landshot and Landshot mechanized for that matter is not very supply intensive. Or meme will never die. Well, let's hope so. the scout defender. This is you saw that here briefly. This is a very awkward position for AKMs. I think against planes it's not gonna be a huge deal, but as you saw here, it can block line of sight sometimes, and if it loses line of sight while aiming at a plane, that can basically make them, especially if the plane is on this side, it can really screw it up. So usually you want them in this area here. Also if a plane is here, that little mountain here might block line of sight. So that's something you should be aware of. It can really screw you over sometimes. And then, well, not necessarily screw you over, but I mean, prevent you from actually killing a thing. There's a Laros that Blitzhorror likes, and I still think are trash. MI-17 should have no problem dealing with this. The Leopard 2A1s and automatic got all rerouted to this area. Which is, so it looks like Blitzhorror interpreted this as if Ghosty was pushing here, but Ghosty is just pretty heavy in a defensive position here, while pushing here, although he's not very heavily pushing. It's kind of weird. DH-53, not a single MG, so in theory the Mi-17 should win. But I mean, the CH-53 can just very easily drive away. Mi-17 went around the flank here. It should be spotted. It's not spotted at the moment, but he should have seen it fly by. And he is spying the M42, which is just garbage, but then again, there's not a whole lot you get in the vehicle type that is particularly great. But yeah, this was just an unfortunate bad call by Blitzhorror. I think he just, as stupid as it sounds, he may have just spotted the units at the wrong time, I guess is a way to put it. And just spotted these too late and these too early, and then thought the push was happening here, but it's happening here, and now his infantry, or parts of his infantry, just got destroyed without his proper tank support. So that's a bit annoying, but it's not huge. He still has his 2A1s in the automatic, so he only lost a couple of points in terms of infantry. Not the biggest of deals. L19 as well, on top of 2 AKMs, it's very heavy in the anti-plane department, which is surprising, especially considering Ghosty is not very heavy on tanks at the moment. So I'm not sure what he's fearing. I mean, Peace Shrine and the Block 5 are of course a threat, but even still 2 AKMs are a lot, so I don't know. Seems like a weird call for me, but it's not like Ghosty is losing at the moment, so I don't want to really call it anything. The Mi-17 here doing nothing, then again it's still alive, so still savable. M84AN better be shooting it. Okay, well he retreated it, that works as well. I was gonna say the Mina 2 is out in the open, and he must have spotted it, so he could have killed it with 1 HP assuming he hit. Mi-7, that's a very early CV for a 1-pointer. Very early. Also here you can see, Ghosty is not really going for this and basically gave away this for free. And this is why I'm saying, definitely get some units here at the start. The 2-1s has to be careful that Apollo 3090 are not going to do a lot of damage, but they're only 4 HP or 3.5 or something, and are panicked as well. So they're not a huge threat at the moment, and Ghosty can't really push a lot or very far right now because he doesn't have the infantry to support. Is he gun running? He's actually gun running. That's pretty hilarious. But I mean, he is going to lose. The Mechanic Savannah can't use their MG in the CQC, and the Lift Garden are also just shock and higher veterancy. There's no way he can win. But he's using the Mi-17s pretty well, although he does not have a fob, so resupplying them, if he's gonna do that, is gonna be very costly. The couple of infantry squads Ghosty had there did get pushed out, but he has new ones on the way, probably 3090 I assume. He should move those BVPs back, because he wants them behind the infantry, not in front. They have a very high DPS output, so he, especially against the MacTag, I think he definitely wants to at least try to preserve them. Yeah, and that's what he's doing. Although a bit late, so now he's actually gonna lose them, but yeah. 2A1s got shot by the M84AN without even spotting the M84AN on their part. I find this actually funny, but I mean, if it works, if it looks stupid but it works, it's not stupid. But he just kept smoking this off for the past 3 or 4 minutes, and that's very smart. And I think more people should do that, especially when you have a fob and you can just park your mortar near the fob. You know, why not do it? It's just gonna, you know, guarantee the smoke being up. But at the same time, while kind of being pushed out here, Blitzwar is doing a lot of work on this side, and he should definitely move those MS-17s down on to this side, because there is no AA for Blitzwar, so you can really use them a lot. And you can see those two MS-17s are already out of rocket bullets, and are even currently using their MGs. And if you have 2 MS-17s here, you know, don't underestimate their MGs. They're NSVTs. They're 50 cals, you know. With infantry support, you know, they might not like kill 5 squads or something, but they're gonna keep their morale down, and they're gonna do damage by themselves. Don't underestimate this. Gebhardt now on the way, it's a bit late. The automatic, what he could do is smoke this off and then move the automatic down here. Maybe he gets line of sight on the MS-17s, but at the same time, they're currently out of rocket pods, so they're not the biggest of threats anymore. Panzergrants just wrecking those Mechanist Savannah, but there's gonna be Specialty support. They're panicked. I think those Panzergrants will still easily win, if I had to guess. That M84N is getting a lot of shots off, and Blitzwar still hasn't got a new scout, or if he did, then it died already again. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. Now using the mortars for actual fire support, but it does mean the Congress M will have line of sight again, especially on that automatic. Aiming, it's firing, and it did hit the automatic. Yep. That's a bit unfortunate. Automatic is such a crucial unit, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ghosty doesn't have a seedplane in this deck, because the Jack Seed is pretty bad. Hello Hardline. Hello back from Germany. Coffee game. Livgarden still in here. Could potentially be quite a threat in the late game. Fennec 20mm coming in. Peace Run coming in. Also, AKMs were on the side. Oh, Peace Run actually gets out. That's very unlucky. Peace Run did manage to kill the M84. So that's no tank left anymore, except well, for the tank CV. So the automatic could, in theory, again, do a lot of work, but still, he doesn't really know, or Blitzwar for that matter, doesn't really know what exactly is there, so it's still quite dangerous to just, you know, move up the automatic and use it offensively. You know, even though it has massive damage output, it does only have 3 front armor, so you have to be careful with that. And just because in this instance it would, you know, really do a shit ton of work, it doesn't mean it's always the best decision, because, you know, chances and all that. Yeah, pardon. Stunning and absolutely wrecking those Padobranzi. It's actually quite a big deal. Actually, no, never mind. He does have Proletary there as well, but they're all out of range. The Gebhardt is starting to run out of ammo, but that's... These specs, man, they can do a lot of damage against infantry. And they outrange most of the infantry by a couple of 100 meters. And Padobranzi 90 here were actually the biggest threat, but they were firing their MG, and they can't fire MG and anti-tank weapon at the same time. So yeah, he used that to his advantage, stunned the Padobranzi 90 and eventually killed them. Gebhardt might actually not be able to kill all those MS-17s, because it's gonna start to run out of ammo. Kanoniak Panzer for some additional fire support. Blitz were now completely on the defensive in mid. Might eventually just end up being who will get Bravo, and currently it looks like Ghosty will. Because with the units here, especially with those 2 M84ANs coming up as well, I don't see Blitzwar pushing into here very soon. He does still have the Peace Run left that he bought. I'm pretty sure that's arrived. He now has finally those Fallschirmjäger 90. I think they might have still been the ones from the start. Sneaking around here, could do some work in Echo there. It's always pesky. It's nearly impossible to prevent infantry from sneaking through there. L19 did kill the Peace Run, but did get damaged on the other hand. By the kill, I should say, as well by the automatic. M84N got hit once, but thanks to 15 armor and being at full HP originally, it did survive. So those Livgarden and those Fallschirmjäger 90 could play a big role in the long game. And that Scout Defender. Those are still out in the open. If they get into the forest, they will not get spotted. I want to see if he spots them. He does not spot them. He doesn't spot them. They have good stealth, and those have only good outbreaks. So he would have to be relatively close. 2 Kylers, not a huge fan of the Kylers. He probably should have stick to more 2-in-1s in my opinion, but at the same time they're also only, quote unquote, only 70 points. MID4A finishes off the 2-in-1. And at longer ranges, those Kylers won't do all too much against the MID4A, but at close range and with those Baderne, those Kylers. Oh, nice micro there by Ghosty. Oh, those Kylers shot it. Oh, at the one down below. And the Milan finishes it up. Okay. It's not a worst trade, but there's 2 more M84As coming in. Just has to watch out for the Milan 2s actually. But at this range, he will spot them. And if he has a shot ready, meaning that he's not currently reloading, he could. He doesn't. Actually, he does one shot. No, he does not one shot them with a single shot. Automatic now being used offensively. Oh, Mina, was it a side shot or was the M84A damaged? I think it was actually damaged, but it could have also been a side shot. No matter the case, it's I think the 3rd M84A being killed. I'm not sure, but they have been doing a lot of work. But at the same time, ooh, Scout Defender kills the base CV. Oh, that's very unfortunate for the Ghosty. And the Echo CV also got killed by the Fallschirmjäger 90 apparently. My. It's always a bit annoying from this side. That down here, that's certainly preventable. This one here, it's nearly impossible. What you probably want is like a Hera here would probably be ideal, because there is a patch of open field that you have to cross. And if you want to play safe, especially if you have something like Rifleman and the 5-pointers, spread them around, 2-3 squads in here, and also split the M113s around. And if you if you're good at paying attention to that, the enemy won't really be able to get past there without being spotted and having to kill some of your stuff. So it's not impossible to prevent this type of stuff, but it's always annoying and very hard to do sometimes. You're gonna hear, no, you can't just walk into towns with line infantry unless your opponent is panicked or something. You're just gonna get murdered. They don't have stabilizers on their MGs, and the battle rifles on the move are also just bad. Yeah, Lift Garden, works, but what you still probably want to do is just smoke this off. They're already shaken and panicked. They're in the town, stationary. It's not gonna work out. Lift Garden here, they try to make a move, did get spotted, so that's good for Ghosty. I mean, good that he knows they're there. But Jimmy Gadandi are still on 1 HP, but I think the MG on the MI17 should be able to finish them off. Blitzwar has a foothold here, and Ghosty not a lot of infantry there. With more Panzergrunts coming in, he has to be careful. Smoke, Blitzwar's own smoke saved the M84A's life. Peace Run did get killed finally by those AKMs. This is CV actually here counter capping. But a lot of reinforcements coming in. Those Lift Garden probably not gonna do a whole lot, since those Proletariat 90 will easily get into the town. And yes, the Fennecs, don't underestimate them. Obviously they're not gonna do too much against like autocannon vehicles with actual armor, but once they start aiming and once they actually fire, they can do a shit ton of work. Oh, automatic got finished off by the M84 at that close range, enough AP to one-shot. Kylers here, you saw that had trouble to kill the M84 and did finally do it, but not without their own loss. Now the Kylers are only pretty... The thing is with the Kylers, they're good at close range, but at the same time, with having quote-unquote only 12 armor, they're also not great at close range, because at anything that has decent AP, they will just get one shot. If they had 13 armor, the Kyler would actually be really nice. But, oh well. Was the second piece, right? Did I say the first piece, right? Yes, this was the second. Yes, it was the first one. In any case, you're right, it was the second piece run that gone down. And I believe that Blitzwar also only runs one card of peace runs, but he also runs a card of block 5s. At the cluster planes, the Danish cluster planes. Panzergrunts side shot one of the M84As, the other one gets hit at the front and survives. Scout Defender once again, but it's not gonna do anything to the T-72 since it has fucking armor. CV here did also get killed. So it looks like there's gonna be some sort of stalemate with Ghosty most likely just keeping this at a +1. I don't see that's a CV spotted. That's where the cluster plane is useful because you know, he doesn't have direct line of sight, so that's you know, good for indirect killing. Barely any defenses here. Not good amount of stuff here, but also probably nothing gonna keep him holding in here, at least in the short run. There's a block 5, but not quite enough to kill a T-72. It moved out of the way and only got hit at the edges of the cluster bombs. I didn't pay full attention, but I believe the M84 at block 5 got out because the AKMs are kind of out of ammo. That's the biggest issue from this side. Not necessarily that it's hard that you don't have any towns, but it takes long to reinforce here. So that even when you have a foothold in this forest, right? It takes ages for your CV or something to arrive. And unless you have control over this town and you know it's safe, you can't really heal or drop a CV in there either. So that is really the biggest issue. CV did eventually get killed by the mortars. You know, I did doubt the FOB at the start, but looking at how much use he got out of the mortars, you know, props to him. Let me just quickly take a sip here. Now it's Ghosty's turn of not having a lot of defenses there, but even then, Blitzwar is not ticking. Ghosty has a comfortable lead of more than 100, of nearly 160 points. 2 Plateau Penalty 90 coming in. That should, you know, be a lot of, should be able to do a lot of damage, I should say. D72 is kind of defenseless here. I'm not sure if the M84A has line of sight on this. If it does, the Panzergrens should be... he should definitely turn on the gun here. And being only at 5 HP, I think they will get one-shot by the Panzergrens, so it's up to the M84A and Ghosty's attention, you know, span, I guess you could say, to save the CV. But I think, yeah, M84A doesn't seem to have line of sight. T72 is not turned on and dies. Smoke came out a bit late, but it didn't matter because Ghosty didn't really pay attention and the T72 had his guns turned off. Lift Garden got past his Proletary 90. Shouldn't really be an issue though, as long as Ghosty pays a bit of attention and keeps those MI-17s that way. The Mechanic Savannah will, you know, bait the fire and the MI-17s will shoot. Blitzor now taking with a +1, but it's not gonna be enough. He will only get like 100 points-ish with a +1 over the remainder of the game. And I'm pretty sure that Ghosty should be able to easily get a CV in there. And Ghosty could assume... Oopsie. Ghosty could assume that Blitzor doesn't have a CV left. And oh, it looks like he spots the CV here. But it is on the fast move and it's going down there. Oh, he's actually going for the supply dog. That's interesting. Well, he did kill the cluster bomber, which is good. He does buy a new CV for both these zones here, so he will tick with a +1 at least for a while. And these Panzergrens, you know, they can't really cross the open field here. Blitzor assumes the CV is in the town, but it's actually in the forest here. Our defender coming in, but the BVPs, unless they're out of position, should be able to kill that. And the OT-60 even got it down to 1 HP and he's about to kill the CV. Oh no! Oh no! I did kill the CV. Super Guard coming in. I think it went for the automatic, but missed both shots. It's very unlucky. But even then, Ghosty did manage to kill the CV here, and honestly, that's most likely gonna be GG. And I think if you look at the timer, I don't think there's any way where Blitzwar can win. He could play this out so Ghosty doesn't get 500 conquest points, but apparently he doesn't want to. Who knows, maybe that'll bite him in his ass. Alright, so that's game 1. Ghosty won rather, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, decisively, but it was a kind of one-sided game. You know, it wasn't a stomp or anything along that, but it was rather, you know, you know, confident victory or something like that. So what do you have here? We have Ghosty playing Eurocore. This is game 2, obviously. Battlefield. Ghosty playing blue 4. Yeah, obviously blue 4, but Eurocore. We haven't seen a lot of Eurocore in the tournament, I feel like. But maybe that's... Maybe I'm also only talking about my ass. And this is confirmation bias because of certain replays that I watched recently. Blitzwar playing... this is again his Landjet mech deck. Alright, so... Landjet mech deck... This doesn't favor mech decks a whole lot, but this can really favor mech decks. The opener, I think if you're playing against a mech deck, the opener is gonna be even more important than. No. I don't really mean decisive. It was not. It was kind of one-sided, but decisive might be the word, but I think it might be too strong. Maybe it's not, and whatever. In any case, back to this replay. I think on this map, the opener, if you're playing against a mech deck, the opener might be even more important than on other maps. Especially if you're playing from Ghosty's side and mech decides to push here and you wreck mech in the opener, they're potentially gonna have a really hard time. If they're going for this and they get into here, you might have a really hard time getting them out of there. Especially if you're playing Eurocore and especially if you're playing Eurocore without the LRM. But we'll see what happens. Let's actually look at the openers. So it looks like Blitzwar pushing mid. What are they doing? Did he give them... Okay, he doesn't look like he gave them a fast move command. Okay, so it looks like he's going to push mid with a decent force going for the right, for this flank, I'd assume. From this side, if you get this point here, and especially if you get like an ATGM squad or something in here, getting back into or holding Foxtrot, whatever it is, it's gonna be a lot easier. Ghosty clearly going for this side as well. With that. Obviously A makes sense and a bit of very light here, so even 2 or 3 squads on Blitzwar side will most likely be able to even get a foothold into Bravo if Ghosty doesn't watch out. But A makes sense. Web T20 with the Recon going for this. This time Ghosty is starting with the second CV. Blitzwar is not. Blitzwar immediately getting something for this flank. Likes to get the Recon around the flank. Did spot the Panther landing there, so he does know where the CV is. Not a huge deal. There's a lot of a big town for Ghosty to move the CV around. And considering that I believe Blitzwar does not have a HE bomber, nor does he have heavy artillery, should have a hard time getting this, around. Did anyone play Scandi deck this tournament? So far, I'm pretty sure there were some Scandinavia decks, but I think nobody in the top 8 had a Scandinavia deck. Let me actually just quickly open up the top 8 deck spreadsheet. Scandinavia is certainly nice, but the thing with Scandinavia is it is both map dependent, but it is also even more so dependent on what your opponent plays. And also kind of how he plays, or how they play. Top 8 had no Scandinavia. Yeah, no Scandinavia. Let me check the spreadsheet of all the decks. Oh shit, I didn't write down what decks they had. Whatever, but there's gonna be some people who send in Scandinavia decks, but I don't remember any of the quote unquote known top players to have sent in a Scandi deck. I did send in a Scandi deck in the, I think it was the Nerfed DLC tournament a year ago or so. I did use a Scandinavia deck and I did win that tournament. Having to win 2 best of 5s in the grand finals. I won both of them, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have won. Alright, anyways, back to this replay. So it looks like, obviously, Blitzwar does push here. He just decides to push on this road, which makes sense. You will most likely, or ideally, want to push on both roads at the same time, so that your push doesn't get choked off at a single point. Pretty light on here, and does get called out by the AMX 10, so he does give away this for free, which is a bit dangerous. Yes, a lot of the decks, or most of the decks in top 8 do contain DLC units. Yes, I did regret bringing Scandi. There was that one match on Mudfire that I got completely stomped on. But I mean, I did end up winning the tournament. And honestly, that last game, I'm not sure if it was the last game, but one of the games, I think it might have been, I think it was the last game in the first best of 5 in the grand finals. It was Punch Bowl, me Scandi against Greyhounds, Commonwealth. If Greyhound won that game, he would have won the tournament. If I won that game, I think I did reset the bracket and thus, get to the second best of 5. And I think I kind of was in a disadvantage in the early game and ended up winning that game. And I still think to this day this is one of the best games of Wargame that I ever played. I was actually really happy with how I played that. Not only because I won, but Back to this game though. Ghosty, smart as he is, does obviously realize, Blitz was pushing here, so he's immediately getting on, trying to get into this town, trying to get the Leclerc and something, probably into this position, because if you get the Leclerc here, or a tank here, you're gonna give your opponent a really hard time in trying to cross from Bravo into Charlie, because it's obviously that little bit of open field here. So you really want to have some sort of tank or a fire support or something in here while trying to hold this forest, because it's gonna make it a lot easier. At the same time, they can also snipe into this position here and make reinforcing a bit more awkward as well. But yeah, in that push, you really have to you also have to immediately realize, what does my opponent have in this area? And then both force him to focus on here and buy new units here, but at the same time focus on not losing the 2-pointer and holding this, because you obviously don't want to lose this as well, because then this gets threatened again, this area here, right? But this is always very interesting if the opponents push on different sides. One thing that is usually the wrong reaction is moving every unit you have back to the other side, meaning that the wrong reaction, in my opinion, would have been if Ghosty sent all the units he had, like here, just straight up into defending this, and not trying to get this town, and not trying to put pressure onto this. Because all that this would do is force the two armies to meet in here, in Ghosty's territory, instead of meeting part of the armies meeting here, but at the same time Ghosty putting pressure onto the Blitz Force 2-pointer and also holding this, for the time when he gets this back, right? Because there's a good chance that Ghosty might never get back into Bravo, in which case he wants to have complete control over Golf and put pressure on the 2-pointer here. Block 5 coming in. Leclerc only has 3 top armor, but good off-road speed, so good reaction by Ghosty retreating. First block 5 gets killed, 2 Rolands and a Crotale. Second block 5 does also get killed, it's very good for Ghosty. Leclerc gets out at 7 HP, the Crotale dies and both of the Rolands die, but honestly that's a pretty good trade for Ghosty, I'd say. Peace Shrine does immediately get killed because Ghosty lost line of sight on both the 2-in-1s and the automatic. It's a bit unfortunate. But Blitzwar has so far at least been stopped and doesn't have a position in here yet, which gives Ghosty time to reinforce this. He does have to watch out for this, and it seems like he doesn't realize at all that Blitzwar does have some stuff here, so in the long run that again can play a big role and at least short term potentially cut off the reinforcements here and allow Blitzwar to much easier get back into this. Leclerc finishes off both 2-in-1s. It's a bit unfortunate. The Panther does not have line of sight on the Panzergrens to provide fire support for the Legion 90, so they will die. But that's... briefly had a bit of line of sight, but that's fine. Because I'm pretty sure that those Legion 90 played a role in those 2-in-1s opening up the side to Leclerc. Smoke is a bit late, unfortunately. I'm not really sure what this is for, because Ghosty doesn't even have line of sight into here, but... Yes, Roland 3s have a 4 down-vetted, 3 up-vetted availability. And I believe Ghosty runs 2 cards up-vetted, if I'm not wrong. Of the wheeled Rolands, the FRR. With 0 armor. E53 got down to 1 HP, I believe, by the Cassiope, which which in turn got killed by those M113s, I'd imagine, because the Stinger did not shoot a single missile. It makes sense now because Ghost realizes there's shit in here. There's no AGM squad here, so as of now there's only the Leopard 1 that actually has any impact on this open field here. I mean, it does actually not kill the AMXN, but there's finally automatic and an AGM squad coming in, and Blitzwar nearly lost everything here, the automatic being the big unit that's still alive, of course. But other than that, not a whole lot of stuff left. The Tiger could be dangerous. I don't think it will be able to kill the automatic without getting killed by it in return, because the Dragona should be close enough for them to spot the Tiger when it fires. Bob did get spotted, not the CV though apparently, and I'm pretty sure the HS-30 does not have line of sight range into here. Actually, now that I remember, I think Blitzwar actually does have M110s in his deck. But I think they have just not been called out in the last game. Reinforcements coming in, not being stopped because the Marder is out of position, and the Leclerc also does not have line of sight. Leafgarden also got put in back into the transport and just drove over the bridge into this position. It's actually very smart. And they will one-shot the AMXN if they hit, but they're now shaken. And miss again. It's unfortunate. Panther going back and forth, rearming. It's gonna be very nice as a fire support tool, especially against the masses of infantry. There's the automatic. I'm not sure if Ghost has a seaplane in his deck. Obviously, seaplane being the counter to an automatic, as I hopefully do not have to mention. Milan 2 gets caught out in the open. Probably wouldn't have hit anyways because Leclerc being fast as it is with 75 kmh should have been able to quickly get into the forest smoke cloud in any way. Mortar giving some nice what I mean to say is Ghost doing some nice smoke micro there. CV being called out for Foxtrot to get a +1 going, but for a short while Blitzwar will most likely have a +1 on his side because he already bought a CV for Alpha. Now has, with the reinforcements, has a decent foothold here. Although outside of the automatic, he doesn't have anything proper against vehicles. They're gonna all being armed with the base law, so they're not gonna do too much. Leclerc being bought here for mid. At first I thought that the Leclerc he bought was for the other side. I'm not sure if he just rerouted it to mid or actually bought it for here, because 12 RPM is nice, but 165 points for effectively a fire support vehicle is a bit too much, I'd say. Tiger hasn't done a lot of work so far. Did snipe something, I think, considering there's something burning. But I think didn't do a whole lot. Automatic just wrecks those things. I mean, the Leclerc is gonna be, nice and all against the automatic unless it gets side shot. But outside of that, something like Marder 2s or MX-13s even are gonna be a lot nicer. Blitzwar with help of smoke did get back into the town. There also just wasn't a whole lot of fire support to kill all the infantry that was there, in all honesty. Tiger now flying around this side. He has to be careful that he doesn't get killed by those stingers though. Blitzwar being very deep into this town complex on this side and getting a lot of Milan squads here, which is basically the best thing you can do here. It's gonna make it really tough for Ghosty to get back into here. Although he obviously can always just go in from this side, but it's still gonna be awkward since the opponent does have the town and will also have Milan 2s here once they unload. Marder 2 not quite fast enough to kill the Milan 2. I'm pretty sure it did fire first at the M113s. Now there's gonna be Panzergrants, and those are gonna be a pain in the ass for anything armored. Especially the Leclerc with quote unquote only 21 front armor against 24 AP. Not gonna take too many shots to take that down, and the side shot will obviously one-shot it. And sorry for missing that, the automatic died, I'd assume by the Leclerc, but you never know. There's a Gepard though, and it does outrange the Tiger, so he has to be careful. KWS being bought preemptively, I assume, because Blitzwar on his side hasn't bought a plane in a long time after the 2 Block 5s, which both died. Gepard barely manages to stun the Tiger before it connects with the Hot 2 and should be able to finish it off. No? Yes. MXN connects one shot on the Gepard, but now finishes it off with the second one. All the infantry here, however, died, so that's good for Ghosty. Ilt is being bought, but this is maybe the wrong call now. Because there's not... Yeah, now it turns around. Probably gonna drive into a place in Golf now, although he... Blitzwar probably wants to smoke it first. Where's it going at? Oh no, it's just gonna keep it up here for now. Maybe it's just gonna drive it around this side. Still not a very safe position for a CV. He has to be careful. He can take cover behind the towns, but there's a good chance that Ghost will still just be able to spot it with ease. Oh, he's actually gonna put it into Foxtrot. Yeah, of course. He has full control over this. So he might as well. Or he just can park it on the road. Spider behind the spawn. Our defender here. Or are we gonna just get killed by the Crotal? It's sort of trying to push up with infantry, but you know, without fire support, it's gonna be really tough. Big direct or indirect fire support. Automatic. Ooh, that's a bit too deep KWS and gets instantly wrecked by the automatic. Unnecessary, especially considering the KWS hasn't done anything so far. It's 140 points down the drain. CV being bought by Ghosty, a Leopard 2 CV. I heavily assume it's gonna be for Golf. Luckily for him, no block 5 left anymore, so he can pretty safely just put it into this forest, and it's not really gonna get killed by anything unless Blitzwar gets some infantry into here, which is gonna be very tough without fire support. And well, the fire support is just gonna get killed by the Leclerc, and it makes sense. This Leclerc down here, I was gonna say it's not doing anything, so okay, he's gonna move it around. Probably gonna work on pushing it back into Foxtrot from this side and this side, if I had to guess. Lots of ATGMs coming in from Blitzwar. You have 4 squads down this side, so he has to be very careful when he shows his tank out in the open. There's some fire coming in. M110s, yeah, as I said, he does actually have them in the deck. Didn't use them in the last game. Trying to trail the town. Ghosty did pay attention though. But also try to kill the fob. He did mark it. I don't know if he remembers where it is. Especially if you get kill the fob early, that can really mess up with your mess up your opponent. Oh god! I'm not sure if you saw that, but the Mina 3 was aiming to kill the Jupiter. But once it misses or once it loses line of sight, the missile actually just becomes, you know, a live HE explosion type of unit, which if that makes any sense, meaning that it's just gonna fly into something and, you know, take a random route or whatever, and whatever it hits is gonna cause a small HE explosion. That's what happened here. It did kill the supply truck, so that's very unfortunate for Blitzwar. You don't see that every day. Wait 1 second. M110's trying to... Where are they firing? Are they firing here? They are. They did just kill an empty supply truck, but Leopard 2... It's gonna take a lot of RT to kill a Leopard 2. This is now, for now at least, kind of lost. Though he's still... Blitzwar still has a kind of safe route to reinforce this, because Ghosty doesn't really have any vehicles to actually stop that, so there's that. Still though, time's ticking, and Ghosty has +1, and Blitzwar seems to be about to lose this CV, which is also spotted, by the way. Leclerc is gonna take out the automatic, and it's not gonna catch the CV. Cesar being bought. Is he trying to counter RT or go for this? Oh, he's going for the Milans actually, okay. MLU did finish off the Leclerc. And did get out alive. Hang on 1 second. Right. And yeah, did get out alive, so there's that. But I mean, 40 minutes ago, Ghost is sticking with a, well, +1 for now. And there's still one more Leclerc on the field. One of the two ones here is down to 1 HP. Not a whole lot of stuff to stopping these Dragoner. Well, except for the Leopard 2 CV. He has to be careful though. Speaking of Leopard 2 CV, Dragoner got down here as well, but they're not gonna do all too much against 15 front armor. Although they did get it out to 4 HP, I assume they got a side shot of maybe MLU coming in and finishing off the other Leclerc. Alright, so this is starting to turn around. Blitzwar with the +1. But Ghosty has both of these CVs alive, they're just both out of zone, so this can quickly turn back into a +1 for Ghosty. And even then, the 2-in-1s are dead, not a lot of infantry left on the field, so before Blitzwar can actually push properly again, he will have to buy some more ground units, and being a mech, you know, they can take quite a lot of time to get there. Which has got killed. It's just an MX-10 being killed. Not a lot of stuff holding Ghosty's Leopard 2 CV in there, but at the same time, like I said, Blitzwar can't really push with anything there at the moment. No infantry, no tank. He has that one lift garden squad, but if that's just gonna come over the open field, the Leopard 2 will just be able to kill it. And you know, he can shell the Leopard 2 there all he wants, but it's gonna take a while to kill. Although it did get down to 3 HP from 4 HP, so direct hit will do at least a bit of damage, especially if he hits directly the top armor. It's gonna deal like 20% of the damage or 30% of the damage, so at least something. But a direct hit is a bit lucky to achieve. Blitzwar gonna countercap that and countercap Golf in a bit. But again, it's just gonna take a plus, just gonna change it to a 0. There's an MX-10 coming in, but I don't think it's gonna do anything to the Führungsgruppe. Even if he gets there, I think the Milan 2 will be able to get line of sight, and Blitzwar can just move the Dragoner around probably to protect it. Three squad of Panzergrunts 90. Currently the Leopard 2 being on 3 HP, they should be able to just one-shot it. But there's a bit of fire support, a bunch of infantry here to hopefully protect it. MLU coming in, killing the Marder 2 there. Leopard 2 should be able to kill the Marder 1. Yeah, there it is. Now being retreated again. MLU killing the... Did it just go for the Leclerc and missed both missiles? Or did it go for? I didn't pay attention, I'm sorry. It did shoot at something down there, but I wasn't sure what. Oh, Cesar gets directed on the cheap CV and kills it. Again, a +1 for Golsey, and I think it's pretty clear how this ends. Let's just speed this up a bit. Cesar finally gets killed. Afal kills the MLU. But this is basically over. Now, well, Golsey even pushing into Alpha. Hold up. That Tiger just killed a fucking automatic. Yep, that Tiger just killed an automatic. I think the automatic was shooting at a ground target, but still, it's always annoying to lose a AA unit to a helicopter. The Echo CV did eventually get killed, so Ghosty will reroute one of his CVs back there. It's gonna give a +1 to Blitz for a bit at least. But wait, what? Oh, okay. Not for too long. Well, I mean, he did now counter gap Foxtrot, but as you can see, there's just not enough time left. And even if there was, I think in the long run, Ghosty would be able to put a lot of pressure into Alpha. And yeah, that's another win for Ghosty. With Eurocore. This wasn't... I think it was one-sided for the most part, but in the last few minutes, Pittsburgh did start to come back, but there's a reason there's a time limit, so if the time works for you, might as well use it, right? I don't know, this doesn't even make any sense, but whatever. Alright, Highway, my favorite map. we have Mr. Ghosty's. Okay, I have to say this. I did already quickly go over this game, so it's gonna be a fun one. Ghosty's Baltic Front against Blitz Wars French Modo, I believe. For some reason, he chooses to go with France Modo instead of Euroco Modo. Don't ask me why, but that's just how it is. Let's do 3x for now. Yeah, I mean, you can't really see a lot, you know, with the spawn zones having basically only one direct road. You can't really say quite what's going where, so we'll have to wait and see. But we can already see there's a lot of stuff. 2 VDAs, 2 NX10s, and a VLRA with the Commandos Para, I pretty much assume. I assume going to drive around the whole map into Alpha Spawn. So that's Blitzwar for you. And also, if you're doing that, that's 120, that's like 145, roughly 150 points. If you're doing that, you might as well wait like 1.5 minutes, which is roughly the time it takes to gain 150 points, and use these 150 points in the opener and just wait 1.5 minutes and then buy the shit to drive around, because these 150 points can make a big difference in the opener, and thus have also, you know, the opener being very important, having thus quite an impact in the long run as well, right? So if you're doing that, I personally, unless you're sending out like a single unit or something, you might as well wait 1.5 minutes or something. But that's just me. So we have Ghosty Idle 90. So he's putting quite a lot of units into here. It seems like he wants to push golf and just play defensively into this area. Missile cannon not getting shot at by the OSA because Ghosty doesn't realize. There we go. Alright, that's the 45-point OSA. A lot of stuff just driving down here. Spike, get into the town. I mean, it did kill the VBL Mistral. And one MXN, so, you know, points wise it's good. There's luckily another Spike here. Spike's obviously being amazing. Ghost has to watch out though, because that shit could just drive down there and potentially fuck up his CV. There's another Idol 90. It's pretty early to get a second one, honestly. Oh, that Vab. Uh-oh. Alright, Vab is being occupied by the ZSU, and the ZSU should be able to finish it off, and it does. Oh god. So Blitzwar does have shit down here, and that's gonna make it really tough to drive anything down there, especially being MX10s down here and Legion 90 down here, 2 different targets and heavy AT as well, and even intercepting the spawn road with this MX10. And close range at T55 should be able to just one-shot it, but there's more MX10s waiting for it if he decides to push down there. KRKK will help to finish off those Legion 90 after they killed one of the Yakari squads. There's the shit driving around. Ghosty still has no idea. Doesn't have any base defense other than a single ZSU. He does have a spawn tank CV, however. So it's not gonna be the easiest CV to kill, at least. Buying a mortar now and an M2 Wilk. Driving down these M1 Wilks to help in mid, or just at the very least prevent stuff from driving down there. Jesus! I didn't think that would actually be still in range for the Legion 90. I think that must have been a side shot, because I don't think at front an MX10 and a Legion 90 is enough. Then again, that's 10 AP difference. Might just be enough with the help of the MX10. Still though, that M1 Wilk does barely get out alive. Yeah, barely gets out alive. But that was close. Still, Ghost doesn't quite have a strong-ish position here. I mean, he's still in here, but if you want golf, you really want that forest. This is not, just having this is not the greatest thing, especially if you have it only with 2 infantry squads that have 525 meter range on their anti-tank weapons. That's not a very strong foothold. So that's kind of unfortunate for Ghosty. Doesn't have a strong foothold here, while completely losing this, at least for now. And alright, let's take a look what's going on down here. So the ZSU opens fire on the VAB VDAA, misses all its shots, and gets completely wrecked by the AMX-10s. Alright. Ghosty doesn't seem to notice just yet. Buys 2 XA185 KTs, but for this area. Alright, he does immediately. Okay, he did reroute them to somewhere else because he just saw them drive off road. Rocket pods? The T-72 CV finishes up one of the MX-10s. Thankfully, that has medium optics, so spotting these with medium stealth, at least from decent distance away, finishes off the VDAA. KT finishes off the VLRA before they could unload, getting these down to 3 HP. I don't think he doesn't spot them though. That could potentially be. I think he spotted them briefly because he turned the gun back on. Take a quick look what's going on down here. Panzeri finish off that one MX-10. Legion 90 are sneaking up here. Could easily finish off both of these. The Commander Spada did not turn the guns off, which was unfortunate for its war. And the Wilk shoots at the fob. CV already in Echo, a new one for Delta. It's gonna give a +2 for Blitz War. Each 90 did kill the Item 90, but Ghosty at least saw that early enough to move away his M1 Wilk. So it's gonna get out alive for now, and actually it dies. Okay. So that's very, very bad position for Ghosty. Again, completely lost this side. Has units near his spawn road. There's two there's two Kasai IPs near this. Okay, Osa, you know, Ghosty buys an Osa, AA. But nope. No armor, no stabilizer, point blank range, turret on the gun, no chance to win against a Kasai IP. What you'd need here is probably something like a Challenger Marksman. Or a Sokol coming from the other spawn. MX-10. Dangerously close to that CV here. Sokol fires off one missile but goes for the MX-10 first. Smart call. Didn't matter, but probably the right idea. VDAA that didn't get killed intercepts the Mi-17 with the CP. Jesus Christ. Sokol finishes off one Kasai IP and finishes off the second one. Alright. After, you know, they already dealt like 65 points of damage and forced the 65 points units being bought. Oh, not a bad trade. VDAA also definitely paid for itself. The whole thing here probably paid for itself by, you know, forcing these KTs and other stuff, and obviously killing the CV. And all the units that Ghosty had in Gulf got pushed out. Blitz were now his units in Charlie. Gonna kill the M2 Wilk. This is looking horrible for Ghosty at the moment. I don't think I need to tell you that. He did finally get the CV into Charlie, but as you see, it's not very safe at the moment, is it? He's still gonna move it into there just to get a tick down to a +1 by the looks of it. Erika is also here around the flank, could potentially get some revenge for what Blitzwar did back there. Total can just one-shot the Sokol, since it has 6 HE and the Sokol only 6 HP. Mina 3 missing, T55 missing, Mina 3 hitting. Alright, that's a T55 dead. And not only does, you know, Blitzwar have control over this, he actually even is in this town, and most importantly, he might again put pressure onto his spawn road, which is very bad. Very bad. But on the other hand, most of these units, they're also all very you know, lightly spread. You know, there are mostly low impact units, if you get the point. You know, outside of Legion 90, which are only very strong at close range. None of these are like very hard hitting units. You know, they're all just light-ish units, just all around. You know, but if Ghosty manages to kind of single them out, deal with them one by one, it's not gonna be too tough. It's just gonna. I think the biggest issue is just it's gonna take a lot of time. But let's also not forget that, you know, Blitzwar has a bunch of Panthers, and there's the Erika squad. Let's see what they can do. Doesn't seem like they did get spotted by the MX-10. Might be by the CV, but they didn't fire. They did get spotted now. finish off one of the MX-10s. Blitzwar immediately notices, but I don't think he can save the CV. What he would need probably to save the CV would be a rocket pod plane. I think that's the only thing that would be fast enough to deal with these air decoys. But France, or even Eurocorps for that matter, but he's playing France, doesn't have access to a single rocket pod plane. So yeah, the CV dies. But I don't think they have enough Iglas to deal with all those Panthers. Still good for Ghosty, but no. Still +1 for Blitzwar. Blitzwar did lose his foothold in Charlie and doesn't have a whole lot of stuff left in Golf. And Ghosty is also slowly pushing back in here. Milan F2 misses on the M1 Wilk. Hits this time around. Front armor is gonna get down to 4 HP. And that finishes it off. Bad micro here. T-72 CV getting dangerously close to those Legion 90. Who did get one shot off but lose line of sight. That was a close one. M1 Wilk with the help of the air decoys finish off this whole, all these infantry. So, you know, there's at least something. So Ghost is slowly coming back into Delta. Echo still in firm control of Blitzwar. And no flank shenanigans going on except for that cannon just watching over here. You know, but Ghost is slowly but surely does have a foothold. Will probably move the CV into this little forest. Oh, that's unfortunate. Commandos para spot the M1 Wilk, and the F3 will just one-shot the Wilk. So that's unfortunate. But for now, Ghosty kind of knows there's most likely not gonna be something in there. In theory, you know, Blitzwar could, you know, get something from down the highway back up there. But with those air decoys, he knows that nothing is, you know, walking from or driving, you know, from this field into here. So, you know, he kind of knows this is safe. Hawks coming in for those VABs, but they didn't kill anything except for one. Legion 90 here is still gonna be alive. But there are now 2 MX-10s, which could just drive down the road here. Air decoys will keep this T-72 safe, probably, at least for a while. But the time is ticking. The time is, you know, yeah, ticking. Or the clock is ticking, I should say. Cassiope, once again, behind the spawn, killed one of the BTR 50s by the looks of it. Hawk, wow. I feel like that's the first time I see the Hawk hitting with both of its missiles on a single target. Finishes off the Cassiope, but there's also VAB T20, and the BTR 50s are not gonna do much against that. It's gonna take the AK-89 at close range to finish it off, but they're not the fastest of infantry squads. As the cannon from the top is now behind the spawn. I mean, it can't do much against the T-72, but it can spot shit and potentially intercept some lightly or unarmored stuff. T-72 here got down to 2 HP, I assume. By the Milan 3 here, but I don't know for sure. Hawk 51 coming in again, kills the Milan and heavily damages those AMX-10s. They're now panicked, and they don't have an autoloader, so they're gonna take a while to reload. Did finish off one of the KTs, but other than that, nothing. KT's now driving down the road. Panthers, you know, if they drive up there, should do, you know, a lot of damage to them. They have only 1 armor. But if they get too close, the autocannon will finish off the Panthers. Infantry gets murdered by those rocket pods. AMX-13 now fucking up stuff in spawn. Cassiope going to Alpha. It's gonna need to hit the rear or the very least side armor to actually do damage. So it's gonna depend on how quickly the T-72 can turn. And it looks like it does have the front armor already turned towards the Cassiope. So I think at point blank range, the AP is not enough, and the Cassiope will basically just use its HE gun. And thus only be able to deal damage if it actually gets any crits, but the MG will take down the Cassiope with ease, but +2 still for Blitzwar. Lots of infantry coming in here, but once again that's nice and all, but you know, he will need quite a big tick going on. Ghosty that is. He's gonna need like a +3 tick for the remainder of the game if he wants to win, and currently he doesn't even have a +1. In fact, Blitzwar does have a +1. And right now, all Ghosty can get is a draw. So, yeah. Considering there's only 2 minutes left, I think it's obvious how this ends. Yeah, and I assume that, you know, Ghosty is probably gonna lose some sort of CV here. Bravo CV is gonna get forced out. And that's yep, gets killed, and Blitz War wins by points. So that's the first win of Blitz War in this set of best of 5. It's currently 2-1 for Ghosty. Ghosty has only his Baltic Front deck that he has to win with. So let's see how that goes. On to game 4. And Blitz War has to win with his looks like Mixed Moto and Lancet Mech deck in order to win. Punch Bowl, not the best deck for Lancet Mech, but that's also not what Blitz War is playing. He's playing his mixed motorized deck by the looks of it, and Ghosty obviously his Baltic Front deck. Both decks pretty good for this map. Spikes are gonna be really nice, and especially in Bravo, but also in this area. So, let's see what's happening. So Ghosty going very light here, very heavy on this side. Ghosty really likes the Delta push, I believe, which I find interesting because Delta is so awkward to push. Because I've said this many times, but you may not know. This may look like, you know, normal open field, right? Normal open field, a couple of towns, like a couple of bushes here and there. But you don't have line of sight here. You can't shoot from this forest onto this forest. There is just no line of sight, similar to this. This whole area just is so weirdly bugged, non-functional when it comes to line of sight. It's weird as fuck. It's just weird as fuck. It's similar for this area as well. It's just so awkward. I think the issue is just that since this was Plunging Valley originally, right? And you fought in like this square-ish, right? So I think Huge never bothered to properly check, or even if they knew about it, just fix, you know, the stuff behind here, and then just forgot about it when they added Punch Bowl, right? So yeah, that's a bit annoying, making this Delta push really awkward. Of course, if you actually can get into here, and especially if you have control over this, a Delta push, you know, happening mostly into this area, it's not going to be too bad, but in my opinion, you do want to have Bravo control before you can properly push Delta or hold Delta long term. But let's see what's happening. Blitz War seems to have like some mixed kind of push. Lots of stuff going here, but also definitely going for Bravo. Both players very, very light in Foxtrot. Oh god. Okay, well the Infantry CV did get into the town. And at this close range, I don't see the cannon winning. Yeah, it's gonna lose. But it did force an I-290 to be bought, which is not necessarily ideal. T-72 CV in here, but again, the cannon shouldn't be able to do much against that. Army CV being bought full Delta. Oh, this is gonna be very awkward for Ghosty. Those A make sense, and those Milans are just gonna fuck this up. I feel like Ghosty originally wanted to go for this, but then decided to reroute his units into this area, maybe. But Ikari 90 out in the open, trying to go for the town is gonna be not what you want. But this Panzer Ikari did deal with those Milans. That's nice and all, but there's a lot of shit coming towards the T-72, and the Stormer do have a proper anti-tank weapon to deal with the T-72. Once again, nothing much happening down here. Spikes, you know, they're so nice for like sniping these reinforcements and getting shots of onto these units. M2 will coming to help. KT as well. The VDAA. Well, will it get line of sight onto KT? It has to be drive into like this area, but the KT obviously a very strong support helo. Celtic also should be able to deal with that. Both of these KTs. There's the I-290, but it's a bit far away. Where's Celtic flying to? Won't be able to kill that KT. It has only one missile left. Does either player have a fob? Ghosty does. Blitz War does not. I'm not sure if smoking off the T-72 is the smartest idea. On the one hand, it protects against A2GM planes and AMX sense and the like. On the other hand, it makes it makes it so the T-72 can't really protect itself from the Stormer just walking up into the smoke, right? So it's a two-handed, two-edged sword. A double-edged sword, I should say. But currently it seems to be working in Ghosty's favor. All these things H7s will give massive fire support onto this infantry, and Ghosty will lose his foothold here. So that's a problem when you have a foothold in the town and then move your supporting units back onto the other side and leave like 1 squad or 2 squads behind without like HGM and the AA support. It's gonna be very easy for your opponent to just dislodge your infantry there from the town. It's a bit unfortunate that Blitz4 doesn't have a FOB, because if you use a lot of Lynx H7s, Panthers, etc., you definitely would like to have a FOB to rearm those rocket pods. Because if not, like they're very supply hungry. So most of the infantry that Blitz4 planted here, I guess you could say, did get dealt with. There's still that SAS squad, but SAS, they're nice and all, but they're not particularly great at like defending towns on their own. They don't have the best anti-tank weapon, they have a basic assault rifle. They're nice, they're kind of niche-ish supporting units more like, you know. That's where they try to make something work here, and the spike doesn't seem to have line of sight on the AMX Sun. Or it could just be, and that sometimes happens, it does have line of sight, but for some reason it doesn't want to fire, so you have to select the spike and give it a manual fire command on the AMX Sun. Sometimes game bugs out that way, I don't know why, but Sissy don't seem to have trouble to deal with the Gewehrman here. With that town damage reduction, MX-10 will need a lot of shots to kill that Sissy squad. Cannon here, you know, apparently Ghosty that didn't care that it killed whatever was there, maybe an XA-180? Oh no, just the unarmed transport by the Sissy. Zero armor as well. Did go for the squad here, but it's just gonna get killed by the Sissy here. And the spike did kill the Milan transport, but not before the Milan could unload, so there's that at least. Celtic here on the flank. Again, if he had a FOB, he could rearm that. And as you can see, that single 20-point supply truck was just enough to resupply those 2 snap helicopters, not even fully the second one. So you see how supply hungry these are. So if you use a lot of them and you are decent at keeping them alive, you know, and having them do multiple runs, you probably do want a FOB. We're actually gonna drive into their death here. They did get 2 shots off, but the M2 Wilk does have 17 front armor, so they're not gonna do all too much damage. And out in the open, they're panicked. They did hit twice again, but you know, now with the infantry support, they're not gonna last very long. XA-KTs could do a lot of work here. The MXN doesn't have a stabilizer, so unless Blitz4 pays attention, gives it an attack move or an attack command, XA should be able to win here. And it looks like, yeah, Blitz4 doesn't, or did realize it too late, and they, again, KT did just finish it off with ease. But with only 1 armor, they will easily get killed by the Panther, which in turn did get killed by the Igla of the air decoys. And it looks like the air decoys actually one-shot it. Oh, never mind. I think the I-90 might have killed it. Or maybe both together, who knows. CV again, whatever. CV coming in from Blitz4 for Bravo, giving him a +1. Ghost is slightly ahead in command points, but not too much, and there's a lot of time left. But Ghosty has a shit ton of stuff here, whereas Blitz4 has a single Gewehrman squad and an XA-186 NO. So Ghosty really wants to get a move on here, but seems like he just likes to have his tanks sitting there and doing nothing. So, you know, probably busy microing down here. He really has a good chance of getting a strong foothold in Delta, because Blitz4 now finally gets some AMX-10s up there. Also Lynx H7 with SBS. But either Ghosty is, like I said, just busy down here, which is reasonable, but or he just doesn't realize that, which is also understandable and reasonable, doesn't realize that there's nothing left, but it seems like he's finally getting a move on. Obviously it's perfectly reasonable, and I would expect everyone to not just blindly attack with everything into Delta, but you know, just moving and probing stuff down there is the least that you could and definitely should do, especially considering that you basically lost Bravo and also Echo. But like I said, I think outside of getting a hold of this, which in and of itself is kind of hard, it's gonna be tough keeping a Delta uncapped. because having a proper push into here is gonna basically require you to hold this, and considering that Blitzwar holds this, there's a serious threat that he could you know, push into Charlie again from this town. It's not a long road, and Ghosty only has a single spike sword and some infantry squads actually defending this. Then again, Mixed Moto doesn't really have proper tanks, so it's not taking too much to also just build up some defenses against this from Ghosty's side. So there's that. But Blitzwar not with a +2. Ghosty does have a CV up here though, but even if Ghosty countercaps this, it's just gonna be a +0 for either. And if Blitzwar can hold this and cap Echo, you know, it's gonna be a +1 for him. At the same time, Ghosty could potentially countercap this if he can keep a hold onto this. And Blitzwar having no proper artillery in his deck, he does have the block 5 to deal with the tank CVs indirectly. Indirectly meaning if he doesn't have line of sight. Or I believe he has Peace Pheasant and Kernos in his deck, who also deal with that. So Ghosty did countercap this, so it's +0 for both. Blitzwar is ahead, however, with 34 points, excuse me. Lots of supply coming, reinforcements coming in. Order fire support by the age of 30. Ghosty did get back into here because the MX-10 here was that far back and not in here to actually stop anything from coming in here, but the T-55 would have dealt with that. I was just gonna say he should move that up, as he does. Exactly what I wanted him to do. Should also move up the air recoils to deal with the MX-10 because these Sikari don't have a lot of range on their anti-tank weapon. The infantry here, however, did get easily dealt with by those Stormer. Stormer on veteran against trained Ikari, it's very easy win for the Stormer. But not a lot of stuff stopping Ghosty's push up here. And Ghosty just keeps on reinforcing this. As long as Blitzwar just doesn't push Alpha, and the Ghosty, you know, knows kind of, you know, that he can safely put units in here, Ghosty will probably just keep on pushing until he completely pushed Blitzwar out of the zone. And Mixed Moto has good infantry, but it's not particularly great at grinding because all the infantry has to come in wheel transports, and wheel transports are more expensive than basic 5-pointers, of course, right? So, and he also doesn't have any strong tanks. He has MX-10s which are great at all, but not at close range, right? So against M1 Wilks, M2 Wilks, Panzer Kari, it's not gonna be too great. There is an SBS squad flying a sneaking round, and an SAS squad as well. If Ghosty doesn't pay attention to that, which apparently he seems to because he just bought a KT, he does. But I think the infantry squad in the town is not going to be enough to stop the SBS here. Yeah, no chance. Yeah, that's gonna die. The Peace Pheasant did not finish off the M2 Wilk. Got it down to 4 HP and the crit though. Oh, the smoke is not enough. The smoke is not enough. I think from Ghosty's perspective, the M2 Wilk might be in the smoke here, but if you turn around, it's just in between two smoke clouds and the Milan has perfect line of sight. That's always a bit awkward and unfortunate if you're in that position. It happens to me all the time as well. But, you know, yeah, there goes another M2 Wilk. The other one is down to 4 HP, and that's the tanks dealt with, at least for now. And these two squads here, especially the SCS with the Stinger, which at least are now out of Stinger ammo, are gonna, you know, maybe not really stop Ghosty, but slow him down. And that allows Blitzwar to, at least for a while, take with a +1. And also force Ghosty to buy another CV, which gives Blitzwar a bit of breathing room again, right? Ghosty, but also pushing back down here, but he does want fire support. You can't just assault the town with infantry, especially mainly line infantry. Then again, there's not a lot of infantry from Blitzwar himself, only one half dead, or nearly dead Stormer squad, now an SBS squad at least. He definitely, yeah, there's A makes sense, those would be ideal, but they might be a bit too late. 55 should maybe push up a bit further, but maybe he's just scared of ATGMs. Should definitely get or move some of these infantry squads in the town just to have them safe and not have a transport just drive in there and unload, because currently there's nothing that would stop him. Linux H7 also gonna do a lot of fire support, but it's just too much infantry for him to deal with. Carry 90 did get kind of caught out in the open by those AMX-10s, but they will get into the town first. Hawk apparently didn't drop its bombs. The CV just stopped out in the open. The towns are gonna block the line of sight. And it's gonna stay alive for now. Hawk killed the Crotal at least. The CV is still waiting here. He could try to unload it here, and he could have known, or could at least test with the KT whether the SAS are out of missile ammo for the CV to move in. All of this caused these units to just stay there without reinforcements. The reinforcements that came for one now went to Bravo without any success really, and allowed the stream of units that came from Blitzwar to just slowly grind back into the zone. And now there's not a lot of stuff left for Ghosty. There's 3 carry squads, which at least are full HP, a half-dead Wilk, which at close range will lose to the aim makes sense, and now finally these 2 squads got dealt with after like 5 minutes or so. And finally a +1 for Ghosty again, but it took a long time. But this now means that for one, Blitzwar can reinforce safely, 2, also can put a CV in there again. And just countercapping is not gonna be enough for Ghosty, because if Blitzwar countercaps on his side again, he's gonna keep ticking with the +1 while he's already ahead. DC being Blitzwar, of course, the whole time. I don't know why he uses this tag for this match. In case I confuse anyone when I say Blitzwar. Yeah, Blitzwar has a very aggressive playstyle. But I think for the most part this game he has been on the back foot. He's only really been able to push down there in Echo and in Charlie at the start. Except for that, he's been mostly on the back foot for now, but he's defending pretty well. Yeah. And just, you know, I think the push with the SAS and the SBS and Delta really had a huge impact on this. Not only did it obviously kill the CV, but obviously, and then of course, and that was a major part, just forced Ghosty for one to spend points on getting them getting these units out of there, but 2 just slowed him down so massively. And I wouldn't be surprised if those 2 just also had a play in him deciding to then actually push down here instead of continuing to push there. The Peace Pheasant, you know, which sorry for not saying that, killed the T-55 here. Decent kill, but the T-55 seems to have killed these 2 MX-10s there. The Firescam Segare there, that were there, did get killed, so Ghosty can move into this town, but even if he gets a CV in there, it's just gonna stop the bleed, and Blitzwar, or DC, is ahead in points, and he's slowly pushing Ghosty out of his own 2-pointer. The Hawk 51's coming in again. They can do a lot of work in the long run, but once again, Ghosty will need to get rid of the CV, or get back into Echo, or at the very least kill the CV in here while having his own in there. This at the moment is not enough, and it looks like that Blitzwar will have a +2 soon again, because that's not a lot of stuff holding Ghosty back in there. M2 Wilk way too far back. It's at full HP. Get it back up there, Ghosty. Move up your Panzer, move up your KTs. Give your units fire support. Probing down there with the Yakari. Getting a T-72 CV before even getting something like a Wilk. Ghosty is kind of desperate because there's not a lot of time left and he's behind 40 points. Why is he running Gurkhas? I assume simply because they're 15 HP and have a good anti-tank weapon. Personally, I'm also not a fan. But yeah, it's not the worst of decisions, let me put it that way. Block 5 coming in. Ghosty either doesn't care or doesn't see it and finishes off the T-72. That's a huge kill. The Block 5 also got out alive. Block 15 going for the Hawk. Idle 90 got 1 shot off but got killed. 2 MiG-29s. You can evac them now, there we go. But it's just not enough time, I think. He's out of tank CVs, that's 1, 2, the other one down here got killed, and 3, the one that just got killed there. So now he has only Jeep CVs left, which will die if you look evil at them. You know, that's enough to kill them. Yeah, let's just speed this up. I think it's pretty evident that this is basically over. Like I said, this push down here, I think in the long run, is very hard to hold if you don't have hold of Bravo. Block 5 coming in again, the cluster bomber, and just kills the tank Jeep CV. There's not many points where he could have put it, so it's very easy to spot. Ghosty does get back into Echo, but it's just, again, too late. Too little, too late. More CVs being bought. It's 3 CVs during that span of time. It's kind of hilarious, but yeah. Does get rid of 2 CVs and helps on his own, but it's just enough to get a +0. That's all it does, because he did lose the CV on top as well. And that CV, that Jeep CV got killed there too. It's just not enough time for Ghosty. Kerner's now coming in, killing the CV in Bravo. Yeah. Similarly to the match in Pettyfield, if Ghosty had like 10 minutes left or so, he would have won. But at the same time, you know, Blitzwar, if he had 10 minutes left on Pettyfield, would have won. So, you know, time, there's a reason there's a time limit, and it's a good thing. Time is a resource in the end, and Blitzwar did the best of it. So, yeah, that's means this is down to game 5 on Nuclear Winter is coming. Ghosty's Baltic Front against Blitzwar's Landship Mechanized. Good for Blitzwar that he got this side, because I think if Ghosty got this side, he would have much bigger advantage than he already has. Any deck that is more oriented towards being motorized, I would say, is stronger on this map. Especially if you still have access to like good mech stuff, which Baltic Front does. Steel Division 2 with no time limit is the best. I'm still confused why they decided to go with no time limit. Time limit is such a good thing that makes these games so much more interesting, because if there was no time limit, especially on maps like Mudfight, which have only +1 points, the decks that can grind the longest are just so much stronger, right? But that's a different discussion. But like I said, I think on this map the motorized focus deck is definitely in the advantage. I think Baltic Front might be most of the ideal decks here. I think Eurocore also a contender for this, because not only do you get these strong motorized units with the KTs and the good helo drop units, but you still get the mech stuff too. You know, once you got your position to reinforce and get the cost efficient large number units, right? And the M1 wings, M2 wings, stuff like that. A mech deck, you know, while having that advantage, just is trash in the opener. And on a big map like this, that is wide and long, that can be very tough to deal with. Especially Landship mech that doesn't even have something like an AMX 10 or, you know, Commandos Para in the Puma Pirate. You have nothing along those lines. The best thing you get is a looks, but it's not gonna do a lot against XA185 KTs. But again, like I said, at the very least, Blitzwar did get this side, because if you get this side, you have a there's a good, well, not good strategy, but an often used strategy to just drive down this road and get into alpha. And if you are mechanized, especially Landship mechanized, there's virtually nothing you can do against that. If the roles were reversed, Ghosty could basically just drive in there with XAs, get spikes into the sound, get Edicos into the sound, and then good luck trying to get back in there. Of course, in theory, Blitzwar could get like Fennec 20 millimeters or something, or Fennec tattoos, but a single I-90 or just these Edicos will easily deal with that. Or even the KTs will win against the Fennec 20 millimeters most of the time, right? From this side, however, pushing into Charlie is not really the best idea, especially since you don't have a direct road into that. You're gonna take like a lot of much longer way than, you know, the other side would have to. Pushing India is not gonna be. He can helo drop there, and there's again not too much that Blitzwar can do against it. But being motorized doesn't give you a huge advantage. You will be able to get into that forest earlier, but other than that, not much. Actually, so why does Ghosty start with his Soko? I mean, yeah, he does have Fennecs, but that's literally all he gets. He doesn't get a Tiger or anything. He doesn't even get any. I mean, okay, he does get it. What are they called? The CH53s with the Fallschirmjäger 90. Oh, fuck off, Mike. With the Fallschirmjäger 90, but probably a better investment to get Ericos in a Puma if he does have them, and try to drop them there, because even the Puma with the basic NSVT will easily just be able to, at least in the long run, be able to deal with those with the CH53. But Ghosty plays defensively here. I assume he just wants to play it defensively, you know, and win them with the +1 and with Delta. Probably, honestly, maybe the worst decision that you can do, because a slow, long game is not what you want to do against mech deck. You want to have that strong advantage in the opener and then live off of that and then reinforce, which you can do pretty decently with Baltic, and you can hold up for a good amount of time against the Lancet and against the mech deck. But like a long, very defensive playstyle on a map like this, maybe not the best idea, but who knows. Buying the CVs very, very early, but I guess, well, both players are. And it seems like that Blitzwar basically played defensive on the whole map. He probably wasn't quite sure what he should do and wasn't quite sure what Ghosty would do, so he bought like a decent amount of units on basically every side, which is understandable. So it's, for now, it's just a stalemate, right? But Ghosty, having the better side for Bravo, is, in theory at least, not the one who has to act, but then again, it depends, you know. Blitzwar is ahead 56 points, and neither of them is ticking at the moment, but Ghosty does buy a CV for this. Yeah, that's interesting. Both players very early with all of the CVs here, effectively. And the Ghosty also just buying stuff for every side of the map, buying stuff on the bottom, buying stuff on top. Both players very hesitant. Okay, Blitzwar now buying 3 squads of infantries. Those are Lift Garden, I believe. A 2 stack of 2A1s. Seems like he wants to push Foxtrot. I think pushing Alpha is not the best idea, because there's a good amount of open field that Ghosty can use with his spikes, with his M1 Wilks. Similarly this side though, and also the spikes are just good everywhere on this map, so it's a weird position for Blitzwar to be in. Tough to say what he should do, in my opinion. What he does here, try to do, is go for the town, which is one way to do, or one thing to do, because being mech, you are great at infantry grinding. So you could do that with a lot of smoke, just smoke everything off and just literally walk in. Which he does on multiple front lines now. He's pushing on multiple front lines. He's gonna lose basically everything here, and now has nothing to defend this CV he just bought, so I guess there's that. But he's also pushing this town. I think he just wanted to see, alright, where can I push? Where does Ghosty not have a lot of units? And yeah, it seems like he's gonna push down here. He's gonna get into the town pretty easily. And once he has the town, we'll go for the forest and then for this town. And all you want to do with Fox is just hold this town. And then you play defensively. Pushing any further than that, unless you are like completely overwhelming your opponent, is usually not the right idea, because it's very hard to... It's very easy, you know, if your opponent has units in here and you push up, it's very easy to lose them and then allow your opponent to push you back out on the other hand. Syria coming in, he deals with one of the 2-1s and gets out alive. Gabard that got killed, but wouldn't have been enough to kill the Syria anyways. Ghosty didn't even try to go for the CB here. He could literally, I guess maybe not, because there's Leopard 1-1, but he could very easily just get rid of that CB. But he's obviously very busy down here. Ghosty, Blitzwar losing one of his 2-1s, very hesitant with the other one at the moment. Probably waiting on... There's an EOD Hawk, okay. Haven't seen that one from his in the first 2 games that he played with this deck. And an automatic. Automatic gonna be very amazing, obviously, for fire support. Other ones with the Panzergrens. I'm gonna do a lot of work on CQC, and this should allow him to get back into this town. T-Red killed one of the other ones. Hawk misses. And that's... yeah, no. Blitzwar should win this fight with the Panzergrens, I think. Or should he? Well, he has 2 more squads, but the thing is, both of these Panzergrens are busy shooting at the Panzer Yakari, while the Sissy so far was freely able to shoot at the Panzergrens without any morale damage from their side. So they could have used their very good SMG, because for some reason they get a higher rate of fire than every other shock squad, and just freely shoot at those Panzergrens. So they're actually taking a lot more damage than you would expect. But the second squad should be able to win the fight here. Syria once again, but the Hawk is now out of ammo, but the automatic very easily will be able to deal with that. Oh, Ghosty doing some nasty stuff up here, but Erika is just out of anti-tank ammo. Getting a mod, getting a mortar, so he's okay. So Ghosty is preparing to push into Charlie, and there's not a lot of stuff stopping him really. Seaplane killed one of the automatics up there. He also, oh no, the other one down here is still alive. So now Blitzer also knows that, well, Ghosty has a seaplane now. He has to micro his automatic. Yeah. Ghosty also now finally deciding to do something down here, but now the Dragoner moved up, he has to be careful with the BMP1s. He definitely doesn't want to lose them. Oh, he has also KRKKs, but Leopard 101 might be key here in keeping the CV alive. Unless it gets killed by those spikes, of course. Which it does. Oh yeah, that CV should be dead, or at the very least, very least, be forced out now. Down here, there's the CV waiting to be put in here. Ghosty doesn't have any indirect fire support. I do not think he has a Hurricane in his deck. So he will need Hawks to be able to deal with the CV or get back into the town, but it's gonna be very tough unless Blitzer heavily overextends or Ghosty just overwhelms him. Mod is not going to be too useful. Potentially it did get down to 2 HP, which I missed. I assume it's by those Milan 2s. I assume they can't have hit the side shot. The side shot would have one shot, but maybe they got a couple of front shots here. Yeah. Oh no, it was a cluster plane here. Okay, cluster plane got it down to 2 HP. Mod maybe not too useful potentially, but I think at close range it might just stand a better chance at 2A1s. But I think it ideally, like, you want probably 2 M2 Wilks might be the best call. But then again, they are also more easily killable with Milan 2s. Yeah. Blitzer is actually pushing down here. I think, as you can see, it's gonna be very tough for him. But Ghosty is not really paying attention, so he's not helping his Erika is there. I think you can see that it's just not worth pushing up into there. Oh god, that's a few too many Milan 2s. Seed coming in, Hawk coming in. Seed should have been behind and not the first one. Now the Syria dies. Hawk gets out alive. M2 Wilk did die. With those Milan 2 up here. Up there, Ghosty is in the 2-pointer, but not really doing all too much. He has a half-dead panicked mod in there now. But if he's not careful, then it will just die to the infantry squads that are coming in. Ghosty, on the other hand, trying to counter push, but with line infantry running over the open field, see M2 with that, he's now overextending and losing a lot of stuff. And that, on the other hand, might allow these vehicles to just do a lot of work. MI-17 is still sitting back, they're doing nothing. So the supply trucks, MI-17 finally moves. 2 empty mortars. Surprised that he didn't actually resupply them. Might have been a better call, honestly. CV being moved into here. Kind of safe position, but he does have to watch out that he doesn't get killed by, like, artillery. Block 5 panicking and damaging the mod, but not actually killing it. CV does get killed. So does this one, but Lift Garden that snuck around. So it's a +1 for Ghosty for now. Again, Seedplane should not be the one ahead, it should be behind. But he does kill the automatic with the Hawk 51 by the looks of it, so I guess it did work out in the end. OKT could kill the CV, but they're not going for it. They should reinforce. I was gonna say they should intercept those M113s, but I guess there's a spike for that. I-90 out in the open could get sniped by a Peace Rhine. Ghosty taking with the +1 at 11 minutes left. That is enough to, I think, win him the game, or at the very least draw. But I think it should be able to win him the game. But it's gonna be tough to keep the +1 going for the whole game. He has effectively control over this, but he doesn't know yet. Currently no reinforcements coming in from Blitzer on this side. He's completely focused on this. Did kill the mod, did kill the CV. I'm always looking at the wrong side over the whole time, I feel. CV from Blitzer coming in, giving him a +3 until Ghosty countercapped this, but it's gonna take a while because he hasn't bought a CV just yet. MiG-21, MiG-29, sorry, didn't finish off the peace shrine. Only got one hit on it with the crit by the looks of it. I mean, Ghosty is in a good position here, but it's 9 minutes left, and he doesn't have a CV back in there just yet. Scout Defender just flies by. Ghosty probably using this Telak as bait, I'm not sure. Gun runs Scout Defender with the seed plane, deals 3 damage, wow. BTR 50 finishes it off. P55 shooting the supply trucks. But it's gonna be very tough for Ghosty to get back into there. Honestly, he has to completely overwhelm Ghosty. Sorry, Ghosty has gonna be. Ghosty will have a hard time getting back into the town because he will have to either just completely overwhelm Blitzwolf or get rid of the stuff with indirect fire support, or at the very least panic it. Well, or he will need a helicopter. I guess that works too. Still though, it's just 6 minutes left, and he will only have a +1 once he kills the CV, and that's not gonna be enough. Stuff coming in here, but no new CV either, so now with a +1 Ghosty. Block 5 coming in, kills most of the stuff, panics the T-55, nearly kills it. But I think it is pretty. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, well, that's the T-72 CV dead. And it's again a +1 for Blitz War. And surprised Ghosty didn't surrender yet, considering he does get very salty very quickly. But yeah, that's basically it really. Ghosty was taking +1 for a while, but not anymore. Scout Defender nearly gets some shots up on the WD. Block 5 coming in. Would have probably killed the CV, but yeah. That's Blitz War winning the game. Again, I think in the long run Ghosty would have won, but there's a reason, there's a time limit. And you have to play accordingly, and Blitz War did. So that's 3-2 for Blitz War, who will move into the losers finals, in case you don't know how the tournament did end, which most of you probably do, but just in case, I'm not gonna spoil it. Greyhound versus Blitz War in the losers finals, and the winner of that will then play against Putin 1-7 in the grand finals. So that's Ghosty losing 3 games in a row with Baltic Front. 3 close games, except for the one on Highway, that wasn't close. But the other 2 games were pretty close, admittedly. At least closer than they might have looked. But yep, good games to Blitz War. He did play very well. No way around it. And honestly, it's hot as fuck. It's not gonna be. It wasn't even 2 hours yet, but I'm not sure if I can continue streaming. So next stream, I'm probably gonna do the cast of Greyhound versus Blitz War, and the finals games I did record, so those will be separate videos that are a bit more in depth, I guess you could say. And well, thanks, Chief. Yeah, shorter stream than usual, but it's again getting kind of hot here. Last few weeks were a bit colder, so that was nice, but now it's kind of hot again. But yeah, hope you still enjoyed it, and suck a cup of ice lolly, it helps with the heat. Well, yeah, I'd rather suck some sausage if you catch my drift. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video or the stream. We enjoyed watching, and hopefully see you next time.